Welcome back to Next on Steam, your weekly stop for discovering the latest and greatest games coming down the Steam pipeline. Steam Next Fest is here, bringing thousands of free demos for players to try before launch. So, instead of our usual look at upcoming releases, I spent some time jumping into a handful of multiplayer demos that caught my attention. So, grab your friends, clear a little space on that hard drive, and let's take a look at 5 multiplayer Steam Next Fest demos you should be playing right now. First up is The Mound, a cooperative horror adventure inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft. You and your fellow explorers venture deep into a mysterious jungle in search of a legendary treasure. What starts as a simple expedition quickly spirals into something far more unsettling as strange forces begin distorting reality around you. I actually got the chance to play this one with a friend, and honestly, we had a blast. At first, I wasn't completely sold. The opening missions felt pretty short and almost pointless, like they could have been condensed into a quick prologue. But after the third mission, the game really started opening up. The hallucination mechanics begin kicking in, strange things start happening around you, and the longer you stay on the island, the weirder everything becomes. One minute you're hunting treasure, and the next you're questioning whether what you're seeing is even real. What makes The Mound stand out is how it combines co-op gameplay with psychological horror. Survival isn't just about fighting monsters. It's about keeping your team together when reality itself starts breaking down. After playing the demo, I'm genuinely excited to see where this one goes.
And unspeakable monsters, you also risk being drawn deep in madness.
In the face of that power, I was completely helpless.
Next up is Embers of the Uncrowned, a dark fantasy action RPG that combines challenging combat, powerful boss encounters, and cooperative play. Players take on the role of fallen heroes seeking to reclaim a shattered kingdom, battling through dangerous environments filled with deadly enemies, hidden secrets, and monstrous foes. The first thing that stood out to me was how much it reminded me of Lost Ark, although with a much darker and more brutal tone. The world feels grim, dangerous, and populated by some particularly unfriendly elves. Combat feels satisfying and flashy, and the story was surprisingly easy to follow, which is always a plus when you're jumping into a demo. I will say some of the systems felt a little mobile game inspired, especially parts of the city building mechanics. Those sections didn't grab me nearly as much as the actual gameplay. Still, there was enough here to keep me hooked, and I found myself wanting to see what was waiting around the next corner. If you're a fan of action RPGs, co-op combat, and dark fantasy worlds, this is definitely one worth checking out during Next Fest. If you're a fan of extraction games, Mistfall Hunter might be exactly what you're looking for. Set in a dark fantasy world, players venture into dangerous zones filled with monsters, rival adventurers, and valuable loot. The goal is simple: get in, secure what you can, and make it out alive. Of course, that's much easier said than done. Every encounter carries risk, whether you're battling powerful creatures or deciding whether another player can be trusted. One wrong move could mean losing everything you've collected. What really helps Mistfall Hunter stand apart is its fantasy setting. Instead of assault rifles and military gear, you'll be relying on swords, magic, and teamwork to survive. For players looking for high-stakes multiplayer action, this is one of the more interesting demos available during Next Fest.
Whatever horrors we face, whatever price we must pay, we must make our stand.
Coming in next is Chained Beasts. This fast-paced action roguelike throws players into brutal arena-style battles where survival depends on quick thinking, skillful combat, and adapting to whatever the game throws at you. Going into the demo, I honestly wasn't sure what to expect, but this one ended up being one of my biggest surprises. The action is fast, chaotic, and constantly keeps you on your toes. Every run feels different, and there's always another challenge waiting around the corner. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to try this one with friends, but while playing, I kept thinking how much fun it would be with a full group. This feels like the kind of game that could quietly sneak up on people and become a sleeper hit after launch. Definitely don't sleep on this one. Rounding out our list is SpiritVale. SpiritVale is a class-based action MMORPG that takes inspiration from classic MMOs, focusing on exploration, loot hunting, character progression, and teaming up with other players to tackle the world together. The game features multiple classes, active combat abilities, world bosses, PvP, and a surprising amount of character customization. In fact, one of the first things that stood out to me was just how many outfit and cosmetic options there seem to be for players who enjoy creating their own unique look. After spending some time with the demo, I'd say what impressed me most was how approachable everything feels. The combat is easy to understand, progression is straightforward, and grouping up with other players happens naturally as you move through the world. Now, compared to some of the bigger MMOs out there, the systems aren't quite as deep yet. The demo also doesn't put much emphasis on story, so most of your time is spent leveling, fighting monsters, collecting gear, and preparing for bigger encounters. That said, I can already see the appeal. There's something refreshing about an MMO that doesn't overwhelm you with 100 systems right from the start. If you've ever wanted to get into MMOs but felt intimidated by games that have been running for 10 or 20 years, SpiritVale feels like a great entry point into the genre, while still offering enough bosses, classes, and progression to keep veteran players interested. It's definitely one I'll be keeping an eye on as development continues. And that's going to wrap up this special Steam Next Fest edition of Next on Steam. Hopefully, one of these demos earned a spot on your download list. But with thousands of games participating in Next Fest, I'm sure there are plenty of hidden gems still waiting to be discovered. So tell me, what demo has surprised you the most this year? Drop your recommendations in the comments because there's a good chance you'll help someone else find their next favorite game. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe for more upcoming Steam game recommendations every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring what's next on Steam.